The Navajo Tale in the Beginning is brought to you by not-a-prophet.org, the place on the internet to find spiritual guidance powered by artificial intelligence. At the beginning of the world, they talked about how to make things, and the sweat hogan was to be used for meetings about how things were to be created, and so on. At the sun's house it was to kill the twins. There have only been 3 sweat hogans up to this day. The hogan made at the beginning, the one at the sun's house at the east, and one to the west. They were all made in the same way, and they were to be used by Navajo. When the moon had finished, with no help from the twins, he had already put the hot stones in the sweat hogan. The moon yelled, "The sweat hogan is ready, the sweat hogan is ready." He told the twins that their father killed people with this sweat hogan. He then told them what they should do when their father came out. The moon dug a hole for them in the southeast corner. The hole they dug was on an angle. He told them when the sun got ready for them to do as he was about to tell them. The moon told them that when the sun came to put 4 blocks of stone flint in front of their hole. This was to be done after they had climbed in. Afterwards they were to put 4 white bead slabs before the front of the door. The rocks were heated and put in the northeast corner of the sweat house. The twins were told by the moon that when the sun yelled and asked if they were warm enough to say nothing. At last they were to get into the hole and cover themselves up. After the boys had been inside the hogan for a while, the sun yelled, but the boys did not answer. They were inside the hole and had put the rocks in front of them as the moon had told them. The sun yelled 3 times and still received no answer. The 4th time the boys answered, saying, "We are hot enough now." When the sun heard this, he threw hot water upon the rocks and withdrew his arm. When he did this, the rocks exploded and flew all over the inside of the hogan. The steam from this got so hot that the first flint turned black, the second one to blue, the third one to yellow, and the last one stayed white. Now the boys were saved. The stone's white bead at the door had turned into the same colors because of the heat. The next time the sun yelled to see if they were warm enough, they answered yes and came out of the hogan. Once again, the sun said something, "I hope it is the truth." The twins went into the house with the sun, who said they were his boys. When they got inside, they found their 2 half-sisters and 2 half-brothers. Before the boys were cleaned, the sun said, "I want you boys to tell me the truth. Don't try to hide it from me. Did you boys have intercourse with your stepmother?" They answered yes. "All right," said the sun. "That will be happening to the earth people. When this happens, the people will kill themselves as they take wives away from each other." Since the twins had never been washed since they had been born, they had large calluses on their joints and dirt all over them. They were bathed and washed gently by their relatives. This is where they were shaped and massaged, as if they were bred to fix them up. Their bodies were smoothed back into shape like their half-brothers, for their bodies were greatly misshapen. It was at this time that cornmeal was fixed for them, which had been cooked in the ground. They were not given bread, which was fixed for the sun only, but other food and drink. After the meal was eaten, the sun said, "You are truly my sons. It is the truth." Then he shook hands with the twins. He asked his sons what they wanted. They answered him, "We want a lightning arrow and a tough-eating lightning arrow to kill the giant." The sun answered them, saying, "He is my son too, and he is your brother. However, he is eating all of us people." He then decided to give lightning and tough-eating lightning arrows to the twins. The boys stood side by side, and were decorated and dressed with flint shoes, socks, pants, and shirts. The sun put a live eagle feather. The Navajo, like their Pueblo neighbors, captured either baby eagles and raised them, or used the adults for the feathers required in their ceremonies and beliefs. Those feathers taken from a live eagle were called live, in their hair to protect them from evil things. The Navajo still have some of these eagle feathers. 3 or 4 people here on the reservation still have these. This feather is used by the young men when they go to war to protect them, but some who own them now are too stingy and won't let them be borrowed by anyone. There was also corn pollen shaken off of the 4 protection gods to protect them. If the gods had not done this, it would not happen now. Now pollen is used for protection. and is put in socks or shoes like the twins did. These kinds of pollen were used during the war to protect warriors. Teddy Goldtooth had some of this pollen under his arm during the war. In battle, he was in front of his own men, and he raised up when the man in back of him, a yard away, shot at him. Teddy turned, and the bullet cut his zipper. This pollen protected him. There are many special rites that are done with this pollen. After the boys were dressed, they stood up, and they looked just like their father. They had lightning coming out of their bodies, heads, arms, and legs. There is a song the war twins had for going to war, and is still used today. The boys made up the song themselves, telling where they met their father. Get inside the sun ray, I am in the sun. 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 Twins in the bosom or chest of the sun. I am his black suit of armor. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I have black flint shoes. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I have black flint stockings. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I have a live flint in my heart. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I have a black flint cap. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I have 2 straight lightning arrows. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I have 2 lightning arrows with me, and this makes 4 coming out of my body. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. Lightning comes out of my toes. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. Lightning comes out of my knees. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. Lightning comes out of my palms. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. 4 lightning arrows come out of my body. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. Where the lightning strikes from these places, the enemy cries and falls back. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am everlastingly feared. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. I am in the sun. After the boys had been dressed, they lined up and went into the heavens with the sun. The boys got behind the sun, or inside him, and went into the heavens, while the others at the house just stood around as they left. The sun traveled on a sun's ray, and the twins traveled with him. From a distance the twins saw the top of Sun's house. They thought about this and felt lonesome, and they sang this song. Look back to the sun's house, come up, the sun's house. From the east, come up, come up, come up. I am a war twin, come up, come up, come up. I have black flint shoes, come up, come up, come up. I have black flint stockings, come up, come up, come up. I have black flint clothing, come up, come up, come up. I have black live flint in my body, come up, come up, come up. I have a black flint cape, come up, come up, come up. I have 2 straight lightning arrows, come up, come up, come up. The sun's house, come up, come up, come up. Black house, come up, come up, come up. Black feather, come up, come up, come up. A sun's feather, come up, come up, come up. Live feather, come up, come up, come up. Fright plume, come up, come up, come up. The enemy doesn't see me. That is why I am invisible. That is why there is darkness to hide me. That is why they see over me. Come up, come up, come up. That is why I overcome the enemy. Come up, come up, come up. I am everlastingly feared. Come up, come up, come up. Live feather spider or eagle, come up, come up, come up. Live feather, come up, come up, come up. When the twins and the sun got up to the middle of the heaven, it was noon. Up in the middle of heaven, they had a lunch from the seeds, nuts and berries that they had brought with them. The sun pulled out his pipe, and they started smoking. This is the reason Navajos usually smoke after dinner now. The boys were asked the names of small mountains on the earth that could just be seen, for they were very small from the heavens. There were 12 rock posts, which represented all of the evil upon the earth. Each time the twins answered the sun correctly, one of the rocks fell over, and the sun said, "There goes one." Their father said, "What is the name of that mountain over there?" It was in New Mexico. They answered, "Black Belt Mountain." Yes, that is right. Their father answered, "There are 6 sacred mountains," and when the sun came to Spinning Mountain, the boys said, "That is our home, Spinning and Crown Point Mountains. That is where we started off." Some more questions were then asked by the sun. Their father asked, which is that mountain over there. He pointed to the southern mountain, TS letter 1E 53D Zil. Then he asked about the San Francisco Mountain and Big Sheep Mountain. One of the mountains asked about by the sun was called Guessing Mountain, for even the gods in heaven try to guess which one it is. The sun said, "This is just to win your land back." From heaven the mountains looked like hills. Many questions were asked by the sun. He said, "What is the whole thing?" They answered, "Earth." "What is on the earth?" And they answered, "All kinds of things, flowers, plants, rocks, and many things. It looks good on the earth." He asked, "What is up here?" They answered him, "All of the heavens, clouds, stars, and sky. This looks good on the heaven." At last the sun had finished with all his questions. They were now ready to go back to earth, and there appeared under the sun a straight lightning bolt. The wind told the boys to get on the lightning, and it would take them back to earth. He said, "Do not be afraid, for it will not hurt you." They stepped on the lightning, and it took them down to earth. They got off at the shore of a hot water spring, Hot Springs or TXO Acute Sido in New Mexico. When the boys got there at the spring, they began to play, for they were practicing with their arrows lightning. It was at this spring the giant came to get his water. The giant was a half-brother to the boys. His father was the sun, and his mother was a whore, loose, running, woman, Echidi. The twins had gone to see their father to get power to rid the earth of its evilness. This is the reason they were created. These boys were playing on the shore, having a lot of fun shooting bows and arrows of lightning at the trees, rocks, and earth. They tried to agree as to which had the finest or best power as they played. The giant had no job, but just 8 people, and had a good time. It was still noon when the giant stuck his head up over the horizon from the east. Then from the south his head and chest were seen. Then from the west were his head, chest, and hips seen, and finally from the north, where his whole body was seen. Each time he came closer and closer, until he was all the way up to the spring. The giant took 2 gulps when the wind came and told the boys to show themselves. If the giant did drink all of the water in 4 gulps, there would be much trouble. If the giant did drink all of the water, the twins wouldn't be able to kill him. If he drank all of the water in the pool, he would have more blood to bleed, for the water turned to blood and gave him more power and strength. He had not had water for a long time and was very weak. The 2 twins walked along the side of the water, and as the giant looked into the lake to get more water, he saw the reflection of the boys. He thought the boys were in the water, and he put his fingers in to try and find them. He could not find them, so he looked up and saw the boys to the west. It was still noon, for the sun was waiting to help the twins. The sun wanted the feather from his son, the giant, for it was power. When the 2 boys won the giant's life, they were to give the feather to their father in return for the power the sun had given them. I tried to kill you in all those ways, but I could not, so you boys are my boys. The giant is not my son now, but you don't get his feather. Thus had spoken the sun in the heavens. The feather was the power of the giant given to him by his father, the sun. I will do the job first to get the feather, and that is why the sun wanted to help them. If he had not tried to kill the twins, he would not have lost his son, the giant. The giant was like the sun trying to kill the people on the earth. The giant said, after seeing the boys to the west, "I saw something good dragging around. Which way shall I throw it?" He was speaking of the twins and of throwing his weapons. The first twin said the same thing the giant had said, only back to the giant. He said this 4 times to the giant. The giant became very angry because of this. The giant was also decorated like the twins with lightning, flint shoes, flint arrowheads on his body, and with 4 big stone clubs. The giant began to swing his club, and then threw it at them. The holy wind was a friend to the twins. The wind said, "Low," and this meant the club was coming at them low. The twins jumped high, and the club went underneath them. These 2 twins learned to do battle that way. The holy wind taught them this, which is called the opposite way. In the old days there was an opposite way taught to the men. If this had not happened, there would be no basic training now. Just like the early Navajo used to lift one leg up and hold shields white, trying to protect themselves in preparation for war. This is when the Navajo learned to do this. The second twin picked the club up after it fell to the ground. The giant threw another club, and this time the wind told the twins, "Hi." The twins dodged and dropped down, and the club went over the top of them. The next time the wind said, "Down and to the right." This time they went to the left and down as the third club went by them. The last time the wind said, "Down and to the left," and they went to the right, and the club missed them again. Each time the giant threw an axe, the second twin picked it up until he had all four of the giant's axes. Now the giant had no more weapons. Without these he had no power. The son called to the boys, "The giant has no more weapons, no more power. I will do the job first on the giant." He wanted to have the giant's feather, which was made of flint. This went back to the father, the son, for he really owned it. At this time the clouds began to gather, and it began to rain large drops of water. At the same time the lightning was shot by the sun, and it struck the giant and took the feather back to the sun. Even though struck by lightning and his feather taken, the giant was still alive. The lightning hit him again, and the flints went all over the earth. The third time the lightning struck, a few more flints were scattered. The last time the lightning struck, all of the flints flew all over the earth, and that is why you can find them everywhere. The giant fell to the earth, and the twins went over and hit the giant with their own clubs to act as if they had killed the giant themselves. They also did it to make sure he was dead. The giant began to bleed, and the blood ran towards Crown Point Mountain and towards the spring. The wind told them, if the blood goes to those two places, the giant will come back to life. So the first twin went towards Crown Point and blocked the blood with flint. The second twin went to the spring and did the same. The wind had told them to do this too. Even today there are rocks that are black, and it looks like the blood of this giant. This is towards Crown Point Mountain. If the blood had gotten to this mountain, it would have gone up to heaven, and the giant would have come alive once more. The same would have happened if the blood had reached the water. For example, because we did not kill all of the Japanese and Germans during the last war, they will probably come back alive and kill us when they get their strength back. After the blood was blocked, the scalp and all of the giant's clothes, a shield it was round and made out of flint just like glass, but could not be seen through, were gathered up. After they finished scalping the giant, they cut a juniper branch off of a tall tree and put the giant's scalp on the end of this. At last they were ready to go. There was still some fog and rain, and so they were lost. From the east they heard a song. Talking God was coming towards them gathering flower pollen. Calling God was staying home, taking care of the home, and pulling out his whiskers. If this had not taken place, no Navajo would pull out whiskers now. Finally, the god came up to them and said, "I am afraid of that scalp and the blood on you." He was afraid because he was a good god, or on the good side with immortality. He was afraid of the blood and scalp. It is only the warriors who can handle or look upon the blood or scalp of an enemy dead. This is the same in a squaw dance. It was important to get the hair and bone of an enemy in the early days. The evil from the dead person is what bothers you after death. This god said to the twins, "Throw it away." They replied, "Don't say that to us, grandfather, for we are lost. Tell us where our home is." The god was jumping around like at the Yabash. He was holding his hand over his mouth. He had some blue gum in his pocket, taken from the roots of a plant. This root is called in Navajo J du letter 1, 9, Biej. He chewed it up and blew it to the east, to the south, to the west, and then to the north, and down and up. When he had finished with this, the clouds went up and away. The god was the first Ye with feathers at the Yabash. Finally, a short rainbow went underneath them and took them to their home, which was at Reversible Mountain. When they arrived there, they went inside the hogan and left the clothes, shield and scalp outside. The house of the twins was made out of the 4 colors of flint black, blue, yellow, and white. Their mother did not know them and did not recognize them because of the change in them, i.e., their cleanliness and blood from the giant all over them. White Shell Woman said, "Where are you coming from, my grandsons and son?" meaning strangers. She asked the same question 4 times. The twins answered her saying, "We killed the giant, grandmother and mother." She did not know who they were, and she said, "He, the giant, is dangerous." And White Bead Woman would not believe the boys had killed him. They said, "We have the scalp and clothing and other things from him outside." She went outside and picked up the scalp. She danced like is done at a squaw dance, but did not dance with a man. She danced to the east and then back, then to the south and back, then to the west and back, and then to the north and back. She sang while she danced, so that she could point to everything on earth, all the many people, animals, and plants that were gone because of the giant. These songs were called four-way songs by White Bead Woman. This was done for a new birth of all these things, and for the evil spirits not to bother the twins in the future. The giant was the one who destroyed, and this is why this took place. This was the first war dance ever done, but was not the same as those done today. After White Bead Woman had finished and gone back into the hogan, she prepared for war. A prayer stick had been given to the boys in the heavens by the sun. This was called indestructible prayer stick. The older boy, the first twin, was to go and destroy all of the evil upon the earth. His brother was to stay home and protect their mother and the prayer stick. Should the prayer stick begin to burn, the first war twin was in danger, and the second twin was to go and help him. The twins were now each given a new name. This is the reason today for confusion as to the number of twins. The first danger was to kill a rhinoceros. The informant believed this animal to be a rhinoceros, for it had a long horn on its nose, and it was very large, lying in the open near where Farmington, New Mexico, is now. The rhino would kill anyone who came out in the open, for he stayed there to see people more easily. The first twin went to where the rhino was, and tried to get close enough to do something to him. The animal was in the open, and the twin was afraid it would kill him first. Along came a gopher and said, "I am the only one who can get close to him." The gopher began to dig and finally got to the rhino and made a tunnel to the side of his heart. The gopher curved the tunnels back and forth. The gopher said when he got back, "Now is your chance." Still the twin was afraid. The gopher said, "Well, you are going to have help from the yucca family. They will be brothers to you, and you are going to be safe because of this." The gopher told him what to do, and the twin took cedar bark and made a torch using the yucca string to tie the cedar with. The gopher said, "Shoot one in each direction, one to the east, one to the south, one to the west, and then one to the north. Each time use 4 different torches." The twin used his own bow and shot the first torch to the east, and the rhino chased it and came back. The twin did this 3 more times, and the rhino chased the torches each time. By this time, the rhino was very tired and lay down where the tunnels had been made. He lay on the hole, and when the twin saw this, he went through the tunnel. When the twin got to the end of the tunnel, he shot a lightning bolt through the rhino's heart. The twin ran through the tunnel, and the rhino tore up the tunnel with his horn as he chased the twin. The tunnel had been made so that it would curve back and forth. Just as the rhino was about to catch up with the twin, he fell dead. Although the animal was now dead, the twin was still afraid. Along came another man, the chipmunk. The chipmunk was a person at this time. He was a man with chipmunk clothing. The chipmunk said, "If I find out he is dead, I will give a dance on top of the horn which is on his forehead. For doing this I want his blood." The twin agreed. The chipmunk went over and soon was dancing on the horn of the rhino. He was just like a sentinel or guard to see if the animal were really dead, but the twin was still afraid. The chipmunk put a blood design on his head and back, and that is why he looks like that now. At this time he was just a man who later became a chipmunk. The gopher said, "Because I helped you, I want the hair off the animal. This is so my children will not be cold." That is the reason why the gopher has fur like he does now. The gopher's fur and nose looked like a rhinoceros. After he had opened the animal, the twin took out the intestines and cleaned them out. He put the rhino's blood inside the guts and used them for beads around his neck. The twin started off again and soon met another evil, the big eagle, who picked him up near Shiprock. The twin still had his beads around his neck. The big danger eagle took him to her nest and threw him against the rock, rolling him down to her children, trying to kill him. The wind, however, went underneath him and saved him from the fall. The fall did not kill him like it had others when they had been rolled against the rocks. The twin rolled gently down into the nest, and he pounded the beads with blood against the rocks, and the blood ran into the nest. After he had done this, Mother Eagle sat on top of a post by the nest, and said to her children, "Eat your supper." The twins said, "Hush," to the little eaglets. The little eagles said, "That man said hush to us." The mother replied, "It was just the noise of the blood coming out of the wounds," and then she flew away. The two little birds began to cry, and the twins said, "Don't cry. I want to ask you a question." The little bird stopped crying, and he asked, "When do your mother and father come back to bring you more food?" They said, "Our mother will come back when there is female rain, i.e., the rain that falls in the fall. Female rain can also be in the summer time, and it is after a big rain which is followed by a little rain with no thunder noise. This rain is very soft. Our father will come back when the male rain begins to fall, i.e., the rain that falls in the summer, and is the rain that makes noise in the summer time. Which post does your father sit on?" And the little birds answered, "The south." First twin then asked, "And which post does your mother sit on?" And they answered, "The north." Finally it again began to rain from the west. The children said, "Our father will be coming home soon." Pretty soon the father arrived with a fine young person, which he threw against the rock, and the man rolled into the nest. The male eagle picked up only male people, and the female picked up the female. The people picked up had all different kinds of jewelries, 15, and now you can find any of them under shiprock today. The father eagle sat on the south post, and the twin shot him with a lightning arrow. The eagle rolled down the cliff into the nest. This eagle had flown around catching people and eating them. When it rained, he would return to his children. It began to rain again, and the children said that their mother would soon come home. The mother came with a young lady whom she threw against the rock, and the girl fell into the nest. The mother eagle sat on the north post, and as the twin shot her through the heart, she rolled down the cliff into the nest. Now the war twin sat with the little eagles and had no way down. He talked to the first young bird and said, "Fly to that rock or cliff over there, and you will become an eagle." As we think of them now, for future use, this is where the eagles were made. He let the last young bird fly to a corner of a rock and said, "You will live and be turned into an owl. You will be needed in future time. Tell people you will be of help and will be able to tell the future for the people." As this second eagle began to screech, it finally turned into a hoot like an owl, and he flew away. This is a different owl than the one associated with the first man and the horse. There were also different types of owls made before this. Down below the nest, the old woman passed east of Shiprock. The country was very pretty, and there were sunflowers and birds who were very ugly without feathers on their wings all around her. The old woman was gathering seeds in a big bag, which were to be used for food. The twin yelled to the old lady, "Grandmother, how about taking me down?" He yelled this 4 times, and she looked up and saw him sitting on the post. The woman was carrying a sack on her back. The wind said to the twin, "That is the Bat Woman who can get you down." The twin said to the old woman, "I will give you the wing feathers and all the feathers off the giant eagles if you do this." She agreed and started climbing up, for she had this power. When she arrived, the twin was afraid to go down. She had a big bag made of hide, which was like a basket. It was held to the back of the woman by one string the size of a spider web. He was afraid it would not hold, but the woman said, "Put in rocks and I will jiggle it around and show you." She was the Bat Woman, and she later turned into a bat. She loaded up the rocks, and as the basket looked safe, the twin took the rocks out and put some of the eagle feathers in and climbed inside. Neither of the birds that were killed fell down to the bottom of the cliff, but into the nest, and that is where they got the feathers. As they were ready to go down the cliff, Bat Woman told him he should not open his eyes or they would fall to the earth. She was afraid she would lose her power if he looked. Bat Woman began to climb down the cliff, just like a bat does. She also used her sexual organs as a suction to hold on to the wall. The ride took a long time, yet the twin was afraid the rock had began to grow up into the sky and that they were getting nowhere. He opened his eyes, and she began to fall to the ground. They tumbled and tangled with one another as they fell. She had the feathers in her sack, and that is how she carried them. Thus, when they fell, they were not hurt. Luckily, they were also almost to the bottom of the cliff when the twin opened his eyes. The two of them fell 10 feet on top of the feathers. As the twin left to go, he said, "Do not go towards the sunflowers or the birds, for they will take the feathers away from you. These are to the east. The plains are found to the east of Shiprock." She did not pay any attention to him, and went to the east anyway. The birds took the feathers from her, for she was almost blind, and the little birds were human. They later turned into all kinds of birds, but they needed feathers in order to fly better. They could fly even though they had bodies like us. The twin continued on and met some more danger, Paiute, kicking people off the cliff. This danger was a woman, and she was lying along the side of a cliff. When people went through the canyon, she would let them go, and then she would kick down the people to the bottom of the cliff. At the bottom were her grandchildren, who lived off of the people who were thrown down. She was lying against the rock, and her head was stuck to the rock just like a plant, and thus she had to stay there. Along came the twin around the corner. She was on the trail, and he was going along it. She kicked at him 4 times, and the twin fooled her by jumping out of the way. The twin then cut her loose with an axe from the rock and kicked her down the cliff. Her grandchildren had a fine meal out of her. When the twin went down below to kill the grandchildren, they pleaded with him not to kill them. He let them go, and they later became the Paiute. The first twin continued on and met some people who could kill just by looking at a person in a certain way. The informants said this was hypnosis. The twin was after all the evil on earth, so he went inside their hogan. When he got inside the hogan, the people began to look at him. He had some rock salt with him, and he threw it into the fire, and it exploded. He carried it like a hand grenade. The salt exploded and went all over and made the people blind. He carried salt with him, for the little holy wind told him to do this. These people would also eat the people they caught. He took out his club and killed them all. Once again, he went on into the open country. Soon he came to 12 antelope, who would run over and kill everyone. They would then eat those who would come close to their country. That is why antelope have black mouths now, for they ate those people. The blood would get on their tongues and mouths and stain them in this way. First twin killed 10 out of the 12 with his bow and arrows, but he saved 2 of the antelope. He saved these 2 and told them they were saved for meat to be used in future times. He made them promise not to eat any more people, or that he would come back and kill them. That is why they will run towards you and then away again. They act as if they are going to run over you. The twin again began to look around for more dangerous things and soon met the old age, people who had been created by Mother Earth. They were about to die of old age. These people told him, "If you kill the old age off, then no one will die of old age. All will stay young forever." These people wanted to be killed, but the twin wanted people to be born. People would not have been born if he had killed these old people. So he would not kill them off. If he let them go, there would be old age in birth. It was for these reasons the twin decided to let them live. Each of these evil groups lived together in little villages. After he met the old age people, the twin continued on and met the lice people. They pleaded with the twin not to kill them. They said, "If you kill us, then there will be no more hair. If you let us live, we will live in the hair. We will keep people happy and not lonesome. There will be no more hair if you kill us, for we will fertilize the hair and make it grow. We will eat the top of the hair and make it grow like grass." This is what the lice people said. That is why some people have no lice, but have razors or clippers instead. Otherwise, the hair would grow and finally drop out. After thinking for a while, the twin decided to let the lice people live on. The twin continued on his journey and soon met the starvation people. They begged for their lives and said, "If you eat once, you will have to eat no more. If you let us go, then you will have 3 meals a day. You will never appreciate food when you get it if you kill us." This sounded good to the twin, so he let them go too. All of these people were like us in form. He let them go for the reasons above. It was now afternoon, and the twin went on top of Black Mountain and along the rim of Red Canyon. While he was along the top, he looked down into the canyon and saw someone breaking off the twigs of a tree. He looked again and saw a bird. He did not recognize him until he came up to the bird and saw he was a pinyon jay. It was a person dressed in bird clothes. As the twin walked up the canyon and got closer, he saw the man had a bundle of twigs. The man said, "Where did you come from?" The twin replied, "I am looking for danger." The pinyon jay man said, "There is still some left yet. There will be a meeting in a cave in this canyon. In the cave everyone will gamble so that if we win, we will have daytime all the time instead of having night. That is why I am gathering wood to be used for the fire tonight." By this time it was dark, and the pinyon jay man gathered up his wood and went with the twin to the meeting in the cave. The people went in groups to the meeting. The cave was like a hogan, and the twin and his new-found friend went into a corner on the right side of the cave. Pinyon jay got in front of him, so he would not be seen by anyone. When the time was close to midnight, everyone asked, "Is everyone here?" Someone answered, "No, all are not here." All waited until midnight when the 12 red people came in. These were the big red welts, chickenpox, smallpox, mumps, and all such diseases. They danced around the fire in the hogan. The red people divided in order to gamble, with 6 going to the left and 6 going to the right. Everyone began to gamble with buckskin moccasins. Nowadays, gamblers use songs when they are gambling. Here is one that a gambler uses when he is playing cards. Home flexible or property song, "I am the Dawn Boy." Time and again he brings goods in Gamaodi Nadajija. On top of the floor of soft goods, Gamaodi Baksa Stxel Bakaji. My home is made up of flexible goods in the middle of the hogan. The footprint of the flexible goods on the body, flexible goods, are before me. My people's flexible goods, and chips of stone are laid on my right arm. It all comes out of me and floats above me. I am immortal, and I am happiness, and it floats above me. It floats above me. It floats above me.